Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Planet Film Network. Welcome back to another episode of PFN Live. I'm one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I'm your other host, TJ Cornwell, and by the title, you can tell we're going to be talking about three things. We're going to be talking about Sonic 2, Everything, Everywhere, All at Once, and Moon Knight, our weekly Moon Knight review.
Boom.
So I think, well, first of all, one thing I like to shout out real quick. If you're not following a TikTok right now,
What are you doing?
go follow. I mean, we're pumping out 6-7 TikTok videos a day. Or as I shouldn't say we. Sean mostly is. I'll do one or two here and there. Go watch those videos now. Follow us. We're approaching 100 followers on TikTok very quickly.
Oh, man, I really thought we were going to hit 1,000 subs. Or, no, 1,000 likes today.
Yeah.
I don't mean
1,000 likes. We're past 1,000.
10,000, I meant, sorry. I thought that, I feel like it'll be, if it wasn't today, definitely by the weekend, we're going to hit 100 followers and 10,000 likes. And that's 10,000 likes, not views. We're at I think we're at 40,000 views already on TikTok. It's just crazy. I know you messaged me the other day, you were just looking at it, talking about how you like to log into it and see the notifications. Yeah, right now we're less than 200 away from 10,000 likes. We'll get there. But you were saying how, it's so much easier to kind of TikTok, just the way that it's set up right now is so much of a stronger, launch pad than YouTube is. TikTok really, not to sound like Gary Vee here for a second.
Sorry, I'll be back on that.
Okay, no, you're good. But yeah, not to sound like Gary Vee here for a minute, but it's TikTok just is so much easier to basically start from nothing and grow so rapidly. And I know there's a lot of different methods that people have, and different, you go on TikTok and you get 20 accounts saying, here's how to grow your channel or your account, blah blah blah. It's all, personal opinion and stuff, because really it's not, I shouldn't say that. It's not all personal opinion. There's a lot of stuff that is truly very helpful advice. But I feel like it's really just one of those things that, you kind of just have to go in and kind of see what you can do for yourself, honestly, because, not everything works for every single person. It's not a, one size fits all solution type of thing. Here, let me just pull up here. Just trying to pull up the chat for a sec. There we go. Finishing Moon Knight. Yeah, so yeah, like he said, we are going to be talking about Moon Knight as well as Everything Everywhere All at Once, as well as Sonic 2. So we got a good amount of reviews coming up in this episode here. But yeah, what are some things, if anybody's watching right now, what are some things you guys want to talk about just off the top here? I know we got a lot coming up this month. We still have The Northman coming up. We have Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Memory, which is another Liam Neeson, action movie where I believe it had. This is the thing with Liam Neeson. All right, this is the thing with Liam Neeson, action films, is that it's always the same movie, but then substitute one little detail change. So Nonstop, which I think Nonstop was probably, I feel like Nonstop, well, really it all started with Taken, talking about Liam Neeson's recent filmography.
Oh, okay.
I feel like really it started with Taken, and just, I don't blame the guy. The guy made tens of millions, if not more, from Taken, because those movies were hugely successful at the box office, a crazy phenomenal hit with all three of them. The, law of diminishing returns, but still, they all did very well. But I feel like since then, I feel like Nonstop was the last one, and Nonstop was the one that was him on the plane. Did you see Nonstop?
I did not know.
Okay. It had him and Corey Stoll was in it. I don't remember if Corey Stoll was the villain or not, but they were really, really good. For some reason, I will always remember that Corey Stoll's name in that movie was Riley, because I just remember Liam Neeson always going, "Riley, get to the back!" Like, so, you know, like I feel like he wasn't the villain. I feel like now that I'm remembering clearer, I feel like it was more like he was like a doctor or something that was like helping him or something. But that was a really, you know, not like a tier like great film, but that was a really damn good movie. And then I think The Commuter, which was basically the identical premise but on a train, and this time it was him and Florence Pugh.
I remember the poster very well. Yep.
Exactly. Yep. January 16th. He loves those mid-January release dates. I wonder what that's about. But yeah, The Commuter I thought also was okay. I thought that The Commuter was good, and it even teased a little sequel. So did Nonstop. Nonstop also teased a little bit of a sequel. You could have probably just made The Commuter a sequel to Nonstop. Could have done like a Mike Banning, Gerard Butler, the Olympus Angel in London Has Fallen thing, where it's like it's just the same guy. Granted, that one makes more sense because he's Secret Service. But I feel like you could have connected those movies and been like, oh yeah, it's the same guy. It's just he's got to stop a different thing. But yeah, so we have Memory now coming out. So this is his like fourth movie in the past 12 months. And I would say the last movie of his that I really enjoyed was probably, did you ever see Cold Pursuit right before the pandemic? It was like,
no, I remember it's the car in the tree, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah, the poster was a car skewered on a pine tree. That movie, those are the movies that really work for him, where it's an action movie, but the movie itself is just like wacky, and you know, it's very violent and like real, but at the same time it's like, you know, people are getting thrown in like wood chippers and like, you know, big like snow blowers and stuff. Like, you know, it's kind of funny stuff like that. I thought that was pretty good, but I feel like he's been on a long stretch now where all the movies that he's done are just really kind of bad. Like I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched probably at least 50% of The Marksman, which literally just came out 2 months ago.
That's on Paramount Plus.
Oh, okay.
Currently, yeah.
Yeah, so go check out the Marksman. He's trying to be a better granddad and a better person. Not a great movie. And then like 2 months later now he's got this one coming out, Memory, at the end of this month, where kind of what I started talking about was it's all of his stuff is just, it's the same movie plot with one thing different. Like this one is retired special forces or Secret Service or whatever it might be, but now he has memory loss.
Oh.
So it's like now he has this disease that he's grappling with, which, you know, if Liam Neeson had a string of great movies in a row and that exact same premise was given to me, I would be like, sign me up. It sounds great.
Yeah.
But because I know it's just going to be these movies that they make for $20 million and hope to make $30 million at the box office, because that's just the rinse and repeat that he's been doing.
Right.
I don't know. I have not that I don't have faith in it being good. I just don't have faith in it being anything. Honestly, I feel like I won't remember it.
Yeah.
But like I said before, I went on Liam Neeson. We do have Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent and Northman and some really good, what I'm assuming are going to be really good movies still to come this month. And then obviously in May, we start to get, crazy with, we got Kenobi starting in May, Stranger Things starting in May, and then obviously Doctor Strange at the beginning of the month, Top Gun, Bob's Burgers. There's a ton of movies coming out in May as well.
Oh yeah, Bob's Burgers. Forgot about that one.
Yeah, and then this month as well, we got Better Call Saul starting up again.
Oh yeah,
April 18th, and then something's coming out on the 17th, and then Doctor Who special is Easter Sunday on the 17th. Yeah, so there's a lot of TV and a lot of movies coming out, and Yeah.
So I want to go through, we have. I don't think I haven't watched much.
Mm-hmm.
So I've only watched movie-wise. I've only watched the 2 movies we're going to review.
Mm-hmm.
But I have watched Winning Time, of course, Moon Knight, and I caught up on Atlanta. The first 4 episodes of this season. I'll tell you what.
Not great.
Still banger.
Oh.
Still banger.
Nice. Do you agree with Donald Glover saying that Zendaya needs to jump ship on Euphoria and then go to Atlanta?
I mean, that would be dope.
Yeah.
Zendaya and Zazie Beetz in the same show. I think that'd be a really cool duo. 2 of the episodes.
Zendaya was originally up for the Joey King role in Bullet Train.
Oh.
So we almost got them in the show, but we almost got them in the same movie.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But 2 of the episodes are not plot based. They're like their own story.
Yeah.
And then 2 of them are. And I think they're all, like one of them maybe is a bit slower than, the other 4, or, I could see some problems that some people might have with them, but I think they're all it's still a great show. And I'll tell you what, and I didn't mention this, like when I rewatched it, however many weeks ago it was. A certain number of weeks ago, I rewatched the Teddy Perkins episode from season 2.
That's the only one I've seen.
Oh, you've seen that one?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll tell you what, I think I need Donald Glover to write a horror movie. Maybe Donald Glover, Jordan Peele collab.
Donald Glover writing and starring, Jordan Peele directing.
Because that is one of the most that is the creepiest episode ever. Like, and that's him too.
Creepy as
like,
hell.
isn't that crazy that that's him?
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh my god, like, just made a shiver down my spine. It was so weird.
That's a wild episode.
What else was I gonna say? Okay. So, question for you: are you going to purchase Lego Star Wars?
So, this is my thing. Was that I was going to.
Okay.
I was like, at first I was like, well, I don't know when I'm gonna have the money for it. But then recently, my roommate got a new job that pays like $2 more an hour. So I was like, I think I'm gonna get it this week, because I'm like, if you guys have known, I have like a huge thing I gotta save up for getting my car fixed. But I put that money aside from this check and everything, and I had enough, and I was like, I'm gonna get it. And then like the more like clips and stuff that I've seen on YouTube, and Star Wars people I trust, and gaming channels that I trust that I've like been watching for like a decade, they all say the same thing, and I want to get your take on it because obviously you played it. Well, I'll ask you this: are you playing it much? I feel like you haven't played it much.
Well,
I mean, not even in a streaming sense. Just, do you find yourself being excited to go in and play it? Or
yeah,
is it
I am a big I do this with everything too. Like when I come home from work, like, oh, I'm gonna do this and this today.
Yeah.
And then it's just honestly the idea of me getting up and going and turning the Xbox on and play, or just watching a movie or watching a show.
Yeah.
It's like the act of doing it is like I don't feel like
Mm-hmm.
it. So I played those 45 minutes on stream, and that room was just burning up. So that's literally why I stopped, because I was just too hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then on Saturday, I think I played 5 hours, 6 hours, like straight.
What episode
Not
are you
straight,
on? Are you
but
on 3?
I'm on 3 currently. Were you the one who said that you heard that it takes like 2.5 hours to complete the story for an episode?
Yeah, that's what I've seen on average.
That's not true.
Longer or shorter?
Way like 45 minutes, an hour.
Really?
Yeah, definitely
Wow.
not. I don't know what third. If you go straight just through the story, hour max maybe. Like it really does not take that long.
So are you doing any of like the side puzzles?
I'm
or
not
anything?
doing any of that. I wanted to just do the whole story and then go back. Because I personally want to. I'm having enough fun where I think I want to get all the achievements.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they're, extraordinarily difficult or anything.
Yeah, this is one of the negatives that I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
Not to poo-poo on your parade, but one of the main complaints that I've heard is once you play through it, you can't replay like a full episode. You can only replay individual missions.
Yeah, but if I'm 100%ing, why would I want to replay the full episode? You know what I mean? Like, if I go through the story, why would I want to replay the entire thing?
Yeah, but I mean, like, what is it? I get what you're saying. I guess in that respect, maybe it won't
Yeah.
matter that much. But it's like, you know how in the original games it was like, okay, you go into the door for the episode, and then the episode was broken up into
to
six parts.
sections. Yeah.
This is like you go to the episode, and then you just strictly like you spawn in like at the Darth Maul fight type of thing, and then you just do that. Like you can't
I
explore,
see.
Like
Okay.
yeah, so the way that like let's just say
I see what
Naboo.
you're talking
Let's just
about.
say Phantom Menace and Naboo for example. Once you've played through it, you can go back and you can you spawn right in, start the Darth Maul boss fight. But then like you can't like go in and be like, oh well, you know, in the hangar I gotta go do this. That you then you have to not go into a mission, but you have to go into the free play
Yep.
of Naboo.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's like, how does that work with getting like the true Jedi thing, like, you know, stud level and stuff? How does that work if you can only go back to do the whole thing in free play? Because normally, maybe they changed it, but normally free play
Didn't count
true
towards.
Jedi doesn't count.
I think it does. I think it
Okay.
does this time.
That's just the
around.
way they get around it.
I'm assuming. Because that would be kind of.
Yeah.
I think that would be really dumb.
And then the other thing is just that the game just feels like it just skips over so much.
Yeah.
Like there's
I
the space
agree
battles
with that.
being cut out and stuff. Like
Just real quick, what I'll say, like, just from playing however many hours of it I have, I think I think some points it's a little finicky, just with the controls. Like, again, I think I said this last time, like, or maybe I said it when I was streaming it. Like, you can, grab somebody, you can grab something or push it.
yeah.
And sometimes I feel like when I want to push something, it
And you
like
said
grabs
you
it.
don't like it that it's all bound to the same.
I don't like
button.
that it's all bound to the same button. Yeah, that really bothers me. I'll tell you something. As much as good as you think the boss fights were in the previous games,
Yeah.
this is definitely way better. Like it's so fun to like face Grievous or face Darth Maul or anything like that, and they have their little kind of move sets, and you're in like kind of this really close person view, and you can block and dodge, and it's really really cool. So I really like that about it. Some of the things are kind of, some of those like kind of not boss things, like the pod racing was cool, like that level, because it's all first person. But some of those in between things are kind of weird, like. For example, like the way like episode 1 starts, where you're on the Trade Federation ship and you're kind of going through. Some of that is kind of like whatever. But overall, I think me personally have a good time. There's a lot of upgrades you can do, like class wise and like stud collector.
People have
Stud
said
multiplier.
like, why would I want? Like I've seen people say like, why would I bother or want to upgrade like a protocol droid?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's an achievement. So I'm assuming that is something, if I want to do 100% the game, is what I would have to do is upgrade every single class.
Yeah.
But it seems like there's a lot of stuff to do. One problem which I don't really like, and I don't know if maybe it's just the way I was trying to do it, is like I'm in a mission right now. I forget where I am. I'm in episode 3. Like I just faced Palpatine as Yoda. So I think I'm
you're
pretty
about
close
go
to
Mustafar.
Mustafar. I didn't like how like I tried to like travel back and go to free play, but like I couldn't for some reason, and I didn't really like that. I was like, just let me go, because I wanted to collect like for the
data cards.
the data cards. I wanted to collect a data card on Naboo.
Yeah.
And it was like, you can't fly there. I was like, well, why? Just let me go. Like, it doesn't. Why does it matter?
Yeah.
Like, just let me come back to this mission.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like that's what another thing that's like annoying people too. And then, what was the other thing I was gonna say? Is another like small thing is like the boss the Mustafar fight actually. Like apparently, in the original game and then in Complete Saga, if you had a friend, hop on for co-op,
Right.
you would become Anakin and Obi-Wan, and you would fight each other.
Yeah.
But with this, apparently, like, if you have a co-op person, you just become, like, 3PO, just, like, standing on the side of the lava bank, and you have to, like, finish a puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to, like, input a code to, like, open up a thing so that the fight can continue. So apparently, like, a lot of people have said that the Mustafar fight, like, could have been this epic thing, but it gets broken up because you have to then switch to a protocol droid in the middle of this, like, lightsaber fight to, like, get to the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, I don't know. It just feels like... and I'm not trying to, like, harp on the game because I haven't played the game. But to answer your question, I'm going to wait for a sale just because I'm hearing enough mixed to positive to mixed to negative things that I don't want to spend the, you know, like $75 on the deluxe edition.
I did that
out of the
just
gate.
like,
yeah.
I don't think I could have sworn it. No, maybe the deluxe it might have been 70. I might have just
Yeah,
said,
no,
you know,
yeah. It's like
cares,
it's
but...
like because I had it in my cart, like I was about to hit purchase.
Yeah.
It's like 76.30 or something.
I think like overall like it's a good game. And I have so much nostalgia for the complete saga.
Yeah.
And it's not it's way better as you know as far as mechanics go. And one thing I am nervous about that I haven't done, I don't know if you've seen anything on like free play. How do you go about characters?
Selection? I was just gonna say that's another thing that people not complain about. Like not that the system's bad, but it's just like. What was wrong with the old one?
Because in Complete Saga, it's like you filter... I think it was like you filter through at least one character that can do like any type of thing in the game.
Yeah.
So like...
Well, I mean, that still, I think that's still the thing.
But I know there's like a character like sub-menu. So it's like, can you just pick them and you just go like that? Like, that's fine.
I think it still does the thing where before you launch into the free play mission, you have to like pick your two main ones. You know, you always have to pick like the two main people, and then it'll, you know, it does the little ching, and then like it shows you 8 people so that it gives you one of each class so that you can do everything. I think it still does that, but then you can open up like a menu to change into anybody that you want. That's why that's like one thing that's really cool is that, you know, there's all these TikToks of like different character interactions and stuff that they'll say different things to each other. Like if you have like Pod Racer Anakin with Vader, you know, he'll be like, "Oh, gee, sir, that's a cool suit of armor," and he's like, "Patience," you know, he's like, "I'd like to get me one of those or something." Like that stuff's funny. Yeah, like that stuff's funny, but to me, it's like, is that the stuff that's important, or is it like not cutting the Battle of Endor? Or like the Battle of Coruscant from like episode 3 and 6.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that. Like I would have much rather that. Like all that stuff is cool, and I love the open world aspects. Like that sounds great and everything. But it's just like I would have rather. If you're saying this is the definitive, most likely last, unless they do like turn Solo into a game or turn Rogue One or turn Mando or Book of Boba Fett or Bad Batch even, all of which I completely see possible. Lego Star Wars 3 was based on the Clone Wars TV series, so I think that's 100% possible that they will make more Lego Star Wars games just based on the shows. I think that's probably going to happen. But in terms of the movies, this is most likely the last game that we're going to get for these 9 films. I would have loved it to be the definitive, you can just play through, you know, and granted, you can't play everything. You can't play every single beat from every single movie. It would just be way too long. Yeah. But, like, I'm not saying to add in, you know, oh, have a mission where you're Jar Jar trying to find your seat at the Senate or something. You know what I mean? I'm talking about, like, the Battle of Endor. Yeah. Like, how do you cut that out? How do you just make that, like, a 4-minute cutscene? Same with Battle of Coruscant at the start of episode 3. Like, how is that? That was one of the best levels. From the original game.
I love that. Yeah, there was. I will say I was frustrated as a kid because you had at the end it was like the 2 buttons you had to shoot.
Don't even get me started
on the laser shield to go down.
I mean, that obviously is such like a core memory of trying to get those 2 damn red buttons, but I just was doing that exact same thing in a much upscaled version because I finished my Jedi Fallen Order playthrough, and now I'm playing through Battlefront 2.
Mm-hmm.
You have to do the exact same thing in Battlefront 2 in the not the Naboo mission, the one before that, the Vardos mission, like above Vardos, where you have to like get onto the ship in your TIE fighter, and I just was dying every single time because it's the exact same mechanic as the Lego. You have to just go for it and trust that you'll break them in time, and it's just like if you don't, you just smash right into the shield. But yeah, I mean, so long story short, I am definitely going to get it, and I'm only going on this because we only have like the 3 things we're reviewing, but I'm definitely going to get it. I'm just gonna wait because I'm like, I don't want to spend, even though it's gonna be a long time. Maybe not. They could announce it next month and be like, it's coming in July. Like, it's gonna be a long time, but no, it's gonna be a long time. But I'd rather save my $80 to get whatever deluxe edition of like Fallen Order 2 or whatever. Like that is so much better value for money. I mean, that is like a 22 hour game plus then 100%ing it plus new game plus. You know what I mean? Like there's or new journey plus or whatever they, call it on there. Like there's so much more value for money there for me. And I know that it'll go on sale. You know what I mean? Like if I give it like a month, it'll probably go on sale for like May the 4th or at the end of the month for Obi-Wan. And like I said, I've been playing Jedi Fallen Order and Battlefront to get me through it because it's just, I'm in the mood to play Star Wars games, but I just can't spend that much money on it. But yeah.
Before we get into reviews real quick, I do actually want to ask your reaction on, I know you did a trailer reaction, but I didn't watch, so I do want to know what your excitement level is for Stranger Things Season 4 Part 1.
Oh, yeah. High. Sky high.
I'm with you. They got me on the trailer.
It looks great. Yeah.
I was pretty surprised. I mean, I might have said this for season 1 through 3 trailers. That they got me. They always get me with the music choice. They always get me with the 80s kind of. Even though I was, not even a thought in the 80s.
Yeah.
It's still really cool to see just the different synth and stuff they got going on in that world. And I'm intrigued. I didn't know that Robert Englund was in this.
Yeah, they added like so many new cast members.
Was that an announcement or
it was I think a year ago.
Oh, okay.
God, just look, if you want to see how many times the show has been delayed, just go to the official Stranger Things YouTube channel and just look at how much content they've like been putting out just to like sustain the existence of the channel. Like they did like an 8-part, I think, podcast series just on Robin, like Maya Hawke's character.
Oh, okay.
Which is Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman's daughter, right?
Correct. Yeah.
That's like blows my mind that those two they're not still together, right?
No.
Yeah. That's wild. Like that.
What have you heard the theories of that the big bad is either Barb or
Billy?
Billy. Yeah. I don't know. Did Billy I forgot. Did he die or like?
Yeah.
Obviously he died because there's a gravestone.
Full spoilers.
How did he die?
Stranger Things.
I don't even remember.
Seasons 1 through 3. But honestly, the episode we're talking about came out.
Yeah.
Just under 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's so wild that it's been 3 years.
Was
it
like
he
the
died.
Big flare thing killed him or something?
Yeah, I remember the mind flare. The battle at the Starcourt Mall. Remember he was possessed by it, but then Max got him out of it. Yeah, and then he like sacrificed himself, and I remember it like stuck him with all of its like tendrils, and it like rose him up, and then it just dropped him like straight down, type of thing.
Yikes.
So yeah, he's definitely dead. But Dacre Montgomery did put on his Instagram like a month or two ago these really like
cryptic,
hazy like pictures. Like you almost can't see anything. But one of them is definite. It's definitely for Stranger Things. I'm assuming. I don't know that for a fact. But one of them is him, which looks like Billy, like on an autopsy table almost. Again, it's very hazy. Like it's purposely like, and when I say hazy, like there's like 5% visibility in all of these photos, and just on the first one, you can kind of make out that it looks like it's probably Billy on like an autopsy table.
Yeah.
Which would make sense. I mean, I'm sure he probably filmed stuff for a scene like that. So I don't think it's gonna be Barb. that would be funny though if Barb's behind it all.
Justice for Barb.
Yeah. Yeah, it turned justice for Barb to revenge for Barb.
Now,
come kill all of
I
them.
know they moved, but I did not see any Charlie Heaton in the trailer. Am I incorrect? Was he in there?
No, he was in it.
He was?
He was in it like
Okay.
2 shots.
I
There were a
must have
lot of
missed it.
people. No, but there was a lot of people
Yeah.
in this trailer that really didn't get much play because there's just there's so many characters on this
Yeah.
show. Like I said in my trailer reaction, I was like, all right, let's hop into this. I'm super excited to see what's going on with Mike and Eleven and Hopper and Lucas and Dustin and Joyce and Murray and Robin and Steve and
Yeah.
I was just like, there's like 15 main characters on the show. Really, there's like
Yeah.
3 main characters with I would say probably Mike, Eleven, and Hopper are
Yeah.
probably the 3 main characters I would
Yeah.
say. But not to say that people like Joyce and Will are not uber important
Right.
to the story. They obviously are. But yeah, like people like Dustin, Lucas, they didn't even have any lines. Actually, I think Lucas does say when you see that shot of Max flying or something. I think it is Lucas that's like, what's going on? Or so, like when they're at the cemetery.
This is even the last season. I think they're doing the
I
fifth,
know
fifth
that's the
season.
craziest thing is that like, but I really love that the Duffer Brothers.
Duffer Brothers. Yep.
The Duffer Brothers, where they're definitely telling the truth that like, we got this season, which is gonna be the longest ever, and then we got the next one, but we're like firmly in the end game of it now. You feel that in
Good.
this newest trailer, like you feel that. So,
Yeah.
do you care if I say something that is not a leak, but a scoop that
It doesn't
people
about. I'm fine.
believe? Okay,
Yeah.
and it's not like, oh my god, why would you say
Yeah.
that? This person is that. It's like it's just about the main villain, which by the way, I did a TikTok on the trailer and then on the popular theory that it was going to be, everything's based on D&D with
Right,
Stranger
yeah.
Things. The popular theory that it was going to be the Vecna, which is like this like king of the underworld type of thing or ruler of the
Yeah, I've
underworld.
seen that in chats and
Um,
like comments. I don't know. I didn't know what that meant, so I was like, "Oh, okay."
But then, and people were like, "Oh, that's gonna be the Vecna or whatever." So I did a thing on it, and I was like, "Yeah, not only that, but the second episode of the show, because they always reveal the episode titles, which they revealed for this season like a year ago. I think it was like 15 months ago. Episode 2 is called The Vecna's Curse, and then the Duffer Brothers came out like an hour after I made that TikTok, and they were like, "Meet the big bad of, the Upside Down." The Vecna, and then, so like they confirmed it. Now the Vecna, that's the thing that people are like, oh, is it Billy? Is it? People have said, is it Brenner, Matthew Modine? Because we don't know where he went.
Yeah.
We know that he most likely got sucked into the Upside Down somewhere, but we haven't seen him in a while, aside from kind of like visions and stuff that Eleven was having. But apparently, there's like people are like confident, and I don't know if it was a leak or if it was just they got a scoop or something, but that apparently, so you know how like 11 is 11, that guy, the Vecna, is 1. That he's the source of the power and stuff.
Interesting. That's
And
why
that-
she doesn't have them.
And that the rumor is that, kind of like the Demogorgon could, he can pass through from the Upside Down to the real world and maybe even has like a human persona.
Interesting.
That might be, and this I don't know.
Yeah.
Like this was not any part of that, but that he might be like a character that we already know, that we don't realize is so
Turns out it's Sean Astin. He's back.
Yeah, justice for Barb. Justice for Bob. Bob was, Bob Newby superhero. I mean, that's like, I'd get a tattoo of that.
That
like,
was tough. That
was
was a
so.
tough
Oh
death.
man, they like eat his face.
Yeah.
They eat that man's face. Oh, that was so hard.
Stranger Things is very much like 50% horror. Like,
yeah. They even said that they were like, what did they say? The Duffer Brothers were like, well, very much in our first season, it was like the kids were in Goonies, the teens were in Nightmare on Elm Street, and the parents were in like Close Encounters. And I was like, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And then they said, this season, we don't have any kids anymore.
Yeah.
They were like, we don't have kids. The parents are still in Close Encounters and like War Games. The kids are all on Elm Street. Like that's what they said about this season. And I was like, that is so awesome.
Immediately you saw that house, did you think of It? That's immediately what I thought of.
Oh,
that,
yeah.
Like, haunted house that I walk into.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
There's also a thing. Do you remember watching that trailer that came out? I think it came out 11 months ago. It wasn't really a trailer. It was more like a scene of all of them going into that haunted house.
Mm-hmm.
But the trailer started with a flashback to the 50s of the family that lived there. Did you watch that one?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, it was like a trailer.
And if I did, it was 11 months ago.
No, exactly. It was a very long time ago. But like there was a trailer that came out that was like all about this family in the 50s, and then the father. This isn't a spoiler. This is literally in a piece of marketing material that's on their YouTube channel. You can go watch it right now. The father then kills the family, and then we don't know what happens to him, and then it becomes this haunted house. People are saying, what if the Vecna thing is the dad from the house?
Oh.
That because people are assuming maybe that house is the origin point for the kind of original passageway to the Upside Down. There's a lot of crazy stuff. I mean, you could theorize on Stranger Things so long. It's just such a good, say what you will about like season 2. I think everybody kind of can agree that season 2 was not its strongest point. I think it was, season 1 was incredible. Season 2 was good, and I think season 3 was really, really good. But still not as, great as that first out of the gate, first season. I think this season really could have the potential to be like incredible like the first season was. But yeah, I think we'll just kind of wait and see. But is there anything else that you're either looking forward to in this season or any like theories you might have on stuff?
No, I'm just excited to see how we attempt to close this show.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see if it. I don't think it'll ever live up to season 1. But can we get better than season 2 and 3? Can this be the second best season of the show? Because even though I think we've talked about this ranking like a million times. It's most definitely season 1, season 3, season 2.
Yeah.
And season 3, it's not like it's good, but it's not like high in. I feel like it's not like high and above like season 2. Like it still has its problems. Again, I'm pulling from what?
3 memories.
Pre-pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
middle of 2019.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see what they have come up with and where it leads into the final season. I guess season 5.
Yeah. But let us know, what do you guys think is going to happen with Stranger Things season 4, part 1, or just season 4 in general, or what you guys think? And do you think that the Vecna is somebody like Billy or somebody that we've known already, or just a totally new creation that, we'll just figure out what's going on with it? All right, what do you want to talk first? You want to talk Sonic, Everything Everywhere, or Moon Knight?
I would like to talk about Sonic first.
All right.
Sonic.
Ba-ding! Right?
Yeah, yes, that is the noise. Yes. So I saw it Saturday, I think. You saw it when? Sunday? Yesterday? Tuesday?
Yesterday.
I think yesterday. Do you want to go first or want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right. I thought Sonic 2 was a lot of fun, and I thought it was a very, very good movie. Had a few issues here and there, nothing crazy. But I thought, taking Sonic and it bringing Tails and Knuckles, I loved every second of it. The chemistry between the three of those, it's fun to watch. Tails might be like one of the cutest like characters I've ever seen. I feel like
Tails literally I was alone in my theater,
Yeah.
and it was where I worked, so I didn't feel bad about this. I took a picture of the movie when they cuddle up next to the fire, and I was like, Tails is literally my cat.
Yeah.
Like literally my
Yeah.
especially when he like curled up with the fireplace. I was like, oh my god. I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, like you said, like it's just like this little guy is just so cute.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, continue. The character design, fantastic.
I thought a lot of the
Yeah.
comedy hit. The Vin Diesel rock joke I thought was funny.
I was
like, oh, they're taking a shot
no,
at
that's
Vin
what
Diesel
I
and the
was
Rock.
saying.
Okay.
I was like, oh shit. I was like, they really went for it.
I thought the kind of subplot was very fantastic appearance from Shamar Moore from Criminal Minds fame. Well, you wouldn't know
I love him
because
on
you never
Criminal
watched
Minds.
Criminal Minds,
Oh, yeah.
but
I did watch like 4 episodes of NCIS last night.
you should have watched the better show. That's what I'll say.
Wow. Okay.
I've never seen NCIS, so I don't know. But I thought that whole thing was funny between those two characters, like his bride and him. I thought like the weakest Jim Carrey. Who could forget about Jim Carrey? Jim Carrey, I thought was being Jim Carrey. I thought he was amazing. Every not every joke for him, but a lot of the jokes from him hit for
I
me.
do agree with that. I think there was like 1 or 2 this time that I was like, okay, that was a little like,
Yeah,
but like 1 or 2 out of a
Yeah.
2-hour movie that he's in
Yeah.
a lot of.
Idris Elba is Knuckles. I started to be like, that's just Knuckles. Like I don't,
Yeah.
I'm not thinking of Idris Elba.
No, I
anymore,
agree with
you
that
know?
100%.
Two things that just did not work for me really were, some of the CGI was not great. I think
like what part?
I said this in my TikTok review, and I think it's still just something the industry might be working on is him like in that floating kind of container thing where he's flying around.
Oh yeah, like the little
Like that to me
ball
doesn't
thing.
look good. Like I compare it to Mark Ruffalo in the Hulkbuster suit in Infinity War. Like it just looks weird.
Yeah.
And him like falling off the giant robot, like that didn't look very good.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
stuff like that where it's like, it's just, what can you really do, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And then the weakest part to me was just James Marsden and what's her name?
Tia Sumter.
Yeah, I just thought they were kind of sidelined, but again, it's a Sonic movie. Like it's Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and Eggman. Like those are the main people you're coming to see. So I'm not really gonna ding the movie for that, but I do wish they kind of had more to do, I guess. And some of their parts were funny, but I was more focused on their friends for the wedding that they were at than them. But I thought they had some cool moments with Sonic as a character. And them kind of being a family and that whole thing, and I really, really enjoyed myself during the movie.
Good. I agree with basically everything that you said. I didn't really like notice the CGI that much. Like I guess I just like same thing with people with like the Moon Knight CGI where they're like, oh my god, what is the MCU doing? And I'm like, it's logs on a like what, like it's like but I did definitely know. I didn't notice it with like the little egg pod thing, as much, but I definitely did notice like when he falls at the end. I think it's just because he's falling and the camera's looking straight down and there's so much like smoke and debris and like he's just so high up. I feel like there was a lot going on for the CG to kind of like look right. But I will say in terms of the human characters, I really, really liked the two of them with James Marsden. I thought that James Marsden was really good. I agree he didn't have much to do this time. A lot less to do this time for sure. And like I thought that the whole wedding thing with his sister-in-law with Rachel, and then the reveal that it was a whole sting operation and stuff. I was like, oh wow, okay. But like looking back, I'm like, I would have either. This is what I think. I think you get a stronger movie if you either give that screen time to devoting it more to the relationship with Sonic's actual parents, like with the two main with Maddie and Tom, uh, or I think you also have a much stronger movie if you just cut most of that out. Because I mean, I think the worst part of this movie was the runtime. I feel like if you trimmed out like 10 to 15 minutes of this and made it like an hour and 40 minutes or something like that, I think you'd have a really, really like solid movie. Not to say that you don't already. I just mean I think you would have like a near, perfect comedy, action movie type of thing. But other than that, other than some of those complaints with the CG and the human characters, I thought that this movie was incredible. I enjoyed myself from start to finish in the theater. I thought it was like fantastic. I was on the edge of my seat, like laughing, loving, like what you said, some of the jokes that they go for, like with especially the one with The Rock and Vin Diesel. Like I was like, wow, I'm surprised they actually like said that, like as blatantly that they did about like them fighting and not liking each other.
Yeah.
And also I thought that the references like that Sonic did were like really cool too, because it's like they set up in the first movie that this guy, all he did, because he was all by himself, all he did would be watching pop culture and stuff. Like, so when he calls Knuckles like the Winter Soldier or like, stuff like that, I thought that was, fantastic. I also thought that the introduction of Knuckles was really, really good. It made sense how Robotnik got off the planet and stuff. Like, I think that definitely... There were so many points in this movie that were, like, failure points that I was like, well, if they kind of do, like, some hand-waving stuff in the story, like, with that, then I feel like the movie could start to fall apart. And every single one of those moments, they didn't. Like, okay, well, how's Robotnik going to get back to Earth? That, for me, they could have really just been like, oh, well, he figured it out. And then he's back. It was like, no, he had a really good idea, got it figured out, but then, Knuckles could have just killed him. He just got lucky that Knuckles was looking for Sonic anyways. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed this movie. I thought that everything with Agent Stone was great. I thought that it was funny that the military guy came back, like, with the Olive Garden gift card. Like, I thought he was really funny, like the commander or general or whoever it is. And then I thought that the end fight was awesome. I thought for a second there wasn't going to be any Green Hills left. I thought they were like, I kind of, that's one thing I kind of got, but I mean, it doesn't really matter in hindsight, but that was one point where I kind of lost the thread for a second, where I was like, wait, what is all this like rubble? I was like, did they just like murder everyone and destroy the town? But then they kind of show you in a wide shot that like, no, they're kind of fighting like just outside the town, so everybody's kind of fine or whatever. But yeah, I thought that was great, and I even thought that like Wade, the other cop, I thought that even he had some really funny moments in this.
Agreed.
That was like really some funny stuff. I think for a potential like Sonic 3, I think you probably
it's not potential. There is Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's the other thing with this movie is that it has been like crushing at the box office.
It's really fun.
Yeah. Not only is it the highest opening for a video game movie adaptation ever, but it's also crushed the first it beat the record of Sonic the Hedgehog, the first movie, which was the record holder for video game opening weekend. So like you said, definitely not potential, definitely going to be a Sonic 3. I feel like you could have a little bit at the beginning with James Marsden and probably at the end with James Marsden. But I feel like with the next one, you take it off Earth. Just go, now that they have that bond built up. I mean, or you could do another story on Earth. I think both would be great. But just saying, personally, I think that this universe really has built up enough already that I'm like, show me more out there. Show me that maybe, also... So the Echidnas, right? They go out and they attack Longclaw and Sonic, which is the opening scene of the first movie. That then we get the flip of. That's the other thing, is that the storytelling and world building was like that opening of the first movie, we then see the reverse of it in this one, like in this kid's video game, animated, not fully animated, but, movie that, like, they put that much care and attention into it that, they kind of tied Knuckles and Sonic's origin together type of thing. I thought that was all fantastic. But Knuckles says that that's the last time he ever saw his father and any of his tribe ever again. But what we saw was just they killed Longclaw. What happened to him? Are they still out there? That's what I'm saying. I think you could explore that in a third movie or something.
Yeah.
Is where did they go? We didn't see this huge battle with all these echidnas and all these owls fighting each other and stuff. They were kind of just going after Longclaw. So I don't know. I think you could do a lot in a third movie. Another thing that I will say too is just a joke that I really, really loved was when they're in the garage and that like hologram or whatever of Longclaw comes up and she's like, "I love you, Sonic," or whatever. When Wade says to Tails after it ends and it's like this emotional beat and he goes to Tails, he goes, "So was that your dad?" And I just lost it. Yeah, it's like I just like wrong time, perfect joke, like just the layers of humor there, just absolute like that crushed for me.
I swear, it feels like just yesterday people were tearing the original Sonic design apart. Is that just me? Like, I feel like it was literally just like a few months ago that people were like,
well, because
that Sonic design sucks. Like,
I mean, think about it. This movie came out. That we've gotten 2 Sonic movies in the span that Morbius was supposed to release originally, and Top Gun. You know what I mean? Like, there's movies that we're still waiting on to release that were supposed to release before the first Sonic. That there have now been 2 Sonic movies. Like, that's crazy. I think part of that is the pandemic, but I think part of that is they filmed Sonic 2 so fast. It was one of the first films to go back into production after things opened up with COVID again. And I think they just knocked it out of the park. Like, I think they just nailed it and were able to throw it in production and get it out for people so quickly that, like, I don't even remember it. I don't even remember the original complaints. You know what I mean? But I was looking up, like, the side-by-side comparisons yesterday after I watched it, and I was just like, man, imagine if this is what they had stuck with. Like, that's just terrifying to think of.
Let's talk a little post-credit scene, I guess, real quick.
Yeah.
Have the reveal that Shadow the Hedgehog is waiting in the wake of the defeat of Dr. Robotnik, which also, that's another thing. We don't know if Jim Carrey's coming back. He said he's retiring from acting, basically. So I know that I think the producers were like, we'd love to have him back if he wants to come back. If not, we'll figure something out, I guess.
Yeah. And they definitely, like you said, they definitely leave it open-ended enough that it's just like, he falls.
Yeah, that's.
But it's like you could open a portal underneath him. There, he could have a, I don't know, he could have a butt pad like cushion or something and like bounce away. Like, I mean, that's the kind of universe we're in, where it's just like his suit could just turn into an airbag. Like a lot of stuff could happen to make sure that he's alive. But yeah, the post credit with now I was confused on that. So are we saying that the government has known about creatures like Sonic for decades? Because they said that Project Shadow had been on ice for 60 years.
Oh, also, real quick, is that the cop from Peacemaker? That woman?
Oh, I don't know.
I thought it was.
Maybe it is.
Let me double check. But I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, they're the government, so it's kind of like...
And the Olive Garden guy seemed to know about it. Not seem to. He goes... he's the one that goes, my God, Project
that is not
Shadow
her.
or
Okay,
whatever.
my apologies, not her. Never mind.
No, you're good. He's the one that goes like, oh my God, Project Shadow or whatever. So it's like he knows about it. So what does he really want Sonic for? Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm interested to find out. But like you said, I think what I would assume is like we've talked about on the show before, I think that Jim Carrey just wants to step away for a little bit and just be even more pick and choose what he wants. But he's said so many times, even
He
since
really
the
likes.
retirement.
He wants like Fat Eggman. I know
Yeah,
that.
like even since he made because honestly, when he talked about the like retirement thing,
yeah.
that was like day one of the press tour. Like
Yeah.
on the red carpet, or not the red carpet, yeah, the red carpet or the blue carpet
Yeah.
for the premiere. He was like I'd play this character. Like he's like and that's when he said like. You know, I wanted them to go bigger. Like he was like, I wanted the mustache bigger. I wanted to do, you know, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So my guess is, I think maybe he sits out of Sonic 3, and then maybe comes back or does something else. Maybe he shows up in the Knuckles TV series or something.
Oh, yeah.
Because we know that's coming up. Which now, knowing where this movie ends, I can't imagine that Knuckles TV series isn't gonna feature Sonic. In some way, unless it's like a prequel, because I'd be down
maybe.
for that too. Him going through more like the angry Knuckles from the beginning of the movie, going through the universe looking for Sonic. I think that would also be a really cool series. That would be a little more like CG intensive, I would guess. They probably are gonna set it on Earth, if I had to assume, just because it's like a TV budget. But anything can happen. But yeah, I really liked this movie. I think it's a fantastic movie. Again, I think the people making this just really understand how to adapt a video game or like these beloved characters to the big screen, because it's such a mix of jokes that fans of the games would know, but also those same jokes work for people who don't know the games.
Right.
And I feel like a lot of people, they either go and like you get something like Doom, right, with like Carl Urban and The Rock, and you're like, that's going a little too far into this is for people of the games, and then regular audiences were just like, what is this? Why am I watching a first person CGI sequence? I feel like this really and then you get something like Assassin's Creed that like strays too far from it, that was like what is it, what am I even watching? You know what I mean? I feel like they really hit the nail on the head, and I haven't started watching it yet, but people are saying that Paramount mostly struck a good split with Halo as well.
I've only still watched first episode. I haven't watched episode 2 or 3, so I don't know. Can't speak to that, but
yeah, what would you give Sonic 2 out of 5?
I gave it 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
And I will say last thing, when Shadow showed up, my theater was pretty hype. I know you were in there alone, but my theater was very hyped.
What did you think of the design?
I really don't remember it that well. I thought it looked good. One thing I will say about Sonic's design that I just noticed in this movie that bothers me is his nose. Oh. It looks really long. Is that just me?
Well, he has kind of a super long nose.
He does, which I've noticed because I never played a Sonic game, really. I always thought they were like, I don't want to say too hard. Like, I was a Nintendo kid. I never had like a Dreamcast or anything. But they always were like, I always was like, well, you're supposed to go fast, but like there's all these enemies, and then you get hit, and then you go slow, and you lose all your rings, and it seems like a lot. And then I played Sonic 2 on the Switch recently. I just like beat it all in like 2 days. It's, it's like 7 levels, 8 levels. Good time. And I was like, yeah, his nose is kind of long.
Yeah. But another thing that people notice is he is big in this movie. Like, if you look at side-by-side images of, like, him standing next to James Marsden from the first movie to this movie, he is, like, so much bigger. Like, when when Tom is, like, crouching down next to him at the end of this movie, Sonic is taller than he is crouching. In the first movie, when he crouches down next to him, he's, like, still looking down at him. Like, and, I mean, granted, I guess this is supposed to be, like, a year or 2 years later. Maybe he is still growing, but I mean, the guy, he's like 2 feet taller in this movie than he was in the first one, which is like very odd. But
he's eating all those chili dogs,
Yeah, I mean, he does say that. They do say in the beginning of the movie, they're like, "Oh, you've grown so much, just in this, whatever." But yeah, I really really like this. I'm gonna go a 4.25 out of 5 for me
Nice.
for Sonic. I really really enjoyed it. Let me check. Looks like we got some.
You like it more than the first one?
Yeah, I think I think I
would
liked
agree.
it.
I think
Yeah,
I did too.
better than the first one.
Let's
See.
Sorry, I'm just signing this.
How come I can't see all the chat? I can't get that chat on my phone.
Not sure.
Oh, there we go. What I liked about the first Sonic was the relationship with the James Marsden character with Sonic. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think that's one of the good parts of this second one. I just feel like they could go a little bit more into it, I guess.
Yeah. Do you want to do everything everywhere all at once next?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay.
let's go for it.
Everything everywhere all at once. You saw it last week, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it Sunday, I believe. You saw what, like Thursday or Friday? Do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I saw it on Friday.
Gotcha. And this is a movie that, now I don't want to say came out of nowhere, but it's blowing up. Like, maybe not box office wise, but ratings wise, review wise, people love this movie.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
People are saying best movie of the year.
Yeah, people are saying best picture of the year. Do you want to go first on this one, or do you want me to go first?
Sure. I just want to pull up real quick. Oh wow. Yeah. So where did this come in at?
Everything everywhere all at once. There was way more people in my theater
there
too
you
than
go.
I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, it came in number 6 on the opening weekend. But total, it's grossed about $9 million so far.
Okay.
Now, granted, it did have a larger budget. I mean, clearly with the movie. I mean, the movie definitely, and I say larger. It had I think the estimate they said it had like a $30 million budget. So will it make its money back? I don't know. Probably if you re-release it, maybe towards the end of the year to remind people about its Oscars potential and stuff. I think it could get there. But I mean, you take a swing on stuff like this from a studio like A24, sometimes they hit financially, sometimes they don't. But the point is, they made, in my opinion at least, they made an incredible movie. I mean, I absolutely love this movie from start to finish. I personally think it is the best movie of the year so far, probably. I think I really love the Batman and stuff, but I think this was definitely above that. For me, at least. I really love Swiss Army Man, which is their previous film, the Daniels. But yeah, Michelle Yeoh, or Yao, everybody that's in this film is absolutely fantastic. I gotta pull up the cast list because it's just hard to remember all the pronunciation of the names. But the guy who played Short Round from Indiana Jones, I mean, he just absolutely crushed it. And then also Stephanie Sue, is that what it is?
I believe so.
Stephanie Sue as Joy is amazing, and then Ki Hugh Kwan, I'm assuming, is amazing, and then also your guy James Hong. Absolutely fantastic, and then also somebody who was equally fantastic. That based on the trailers and stuff, I feel like you get the impression that maybe is only going to be in one scene, but Jamie Lee Curtis has a pretty prominent role in this movie. She is in it a lot more than I feel the trailers let on. And she is fantastic. Her and Michelle Yeoh in a bunch of scenes really, really, bring it as actresses. And also just some of the really out there stuff that this movie does. I think that they both kind of play in that habitat really, really great. But for me, honestly, if I had to pick one real absolute standout, it would be Ki Hugh Kwan for me. I think that him as her husband in all forms was fantastic. I think. Are we doing spoilers?
Yeah.
Okay. So full spoilers for Everything Everywhere All at Once. When he dies, when the first one, or when what does she call him? Alpha Waymond or whatever.
Yeah.
When he dies, I was like heartbroken. I was so broken up about it. I was like, oh my god. And then because it's like, the one that she is with, he not spineless, but he's just beaten down by life, and I love that we get very early on that like he is going to divorce her. God, I really want to see this movie again, really bad. Oh my god. Yeah, that he's going to divorce her, and obviously that's a big thing against their original culture, but he's like, we've lived in America for all these years, like, it's, and she tries to pin it on, well, your brother just got divorced.
Yeah,
that's why you're doing it.
Yeah,
and he's like, well, maybe that was just like, okay, he did it, so, it's doable, more like. I'm not doing it because of him. I'm doing it because, I've wanted to do this for so long and felt like I couldn't, type of thing. And then I just love that the movie, over time, he finds his voice in her life. She figures out that she needs him in order to live, basically, to survive, because they are that perfect balance that, most couples like to think that they are for each other. And then also both of them dealing with their daughter, with Joy. And what is it, Jobu Tupaki?
Jobu Tupaki.
Yeah. All of that was absolutely great. But yeah, like I said, for me, it really just comes down to the relationship with the two of them, and then at the end of the film, when you're getting all of these different sets of them. Even though and I did like that one of them, it wasn't him. It was Jamie Lee Curtis that she was with in the Hot Dog Fingers universe.
Oh my god!
Like, but either way, it's her finding, like, she has to accept, her partner in her life in order to keep going, because it's like she can't just like always do everything on her own, type of thing. And I really like the one where they didn't end up together. Where she stayed and he left, and then they found each other again later in life. I really loved that one, because, it was basically showing her, when he says to her, in another life, I would have been happy waking up with you every morning and doing taxes and running a laundromat. And then she kind of has that moment where she's like, fuck, like, like, he's right, type of thing. Like, she realizes she takes so much for granted in every single aspect of all of her life, that she, oh, my stupid, she even calls him, like, my stupid husband, like, throughout the whole beginning of the movie, type of thing. And I just really love that, as well as then, apart from all of that and any of that, just the absolute absurd visuals, the story, the actual way that they told the story, with the movie being in 3 parts, I thought was fantastic. And yeah, I just think the editing on this movie is insane. Just all the cutting and swapping between 2 places, and the cinematography with anything A24 and same thing with Swiss Army Man, just beautiful. And then the colors and everything, just crazy. I really, really loved it. I absolutely loved it. I could talk about it for a year straight. Yeah. What did you think?
Yeah. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought everybody in the cast was great. I thought it was a great story, very heartfelt. The action I thought was really good. A lot of the fight scenes, fight choreography was great. The whole fanny pack thing, kind of sort of at the beginning at the IRS office. I did feel kind of attacked as an Everything Bagel fan. Those are like the only bagels I eat. So I was a little, I was like, what's wrong with Everything Bagel? Yeah. Everything really good. Yeah, I thought everything was great about it. No, I shouldn't say everything. My one, and these are really two small like things that. One, I felt like it went on a tad long. I found myself kind of being like, okay, like, are we there yet? Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like I've been in here longer than the runtime. And then I was just, they go through I feel like they explain the rules well, but they go through them very quickly. And I was a little confused during parts where it's like, and they say it, I'm 99.9% sure, and I might have just heard it and then it just kind of went in one ear out the other. But like them to like pull powers from the different universes, what do they have to do for that? Was it like, I heard it's like
Anything.
something random, like you
Yeah.
just do whatever.
Yeah, so it's like they have to yeah, I mean they do say that, but like you said, they say it like once or twice, just like at the like
Yeah.
probably within the first like 20 minutes of the movie. So when they're like in the van, right? When they're originally
Right.
in the van and she is trying to, do the jump pads or whatever, they're like, all right, this is the universe we want to pull from, and then they run their little algorithm that she came up with, which I thought was a good touch. That like, but anyways.
Oh,
They-
in
then
that
they-
universe, like
yeah,
the
they-
alpha version of her.
Yeah,
came up
that
with it,
she
yeah.
was the one that kind of created it or whatever. Then they run their little algorithm that's like, all right, tell Deidre that you love her. That one. Like, so then later in the movie, which I'm assuming is what you're referring to, when she's just doing whatever and
Yeah.
getting all these powers, she's just skipping that first step. She's just doing random shit
Okay.
because it will result in something.
Right.
She just has no idea what it is. That's the thing. That's all.
Gotcha.
It is. Yeah. So it's just like in the beginning, they're like, all right, here's the Kung Fu universe. Do this to get the powers.
Right.
Later, it's
Oh,
like,
she's just trying to come up with something.
yeah,
Like,
she's
okay,
just
I
doing a
gotcha.
bunch of random shit.
So she doesn't know what she's getting.
Exactly.
She's just gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's why, like, that the first time that she just does something random to do it, she gets the hot
Yeah.
dog fingers.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why.
The whole kind of sticking oh my god, the Rakakuni thing. Oh my lord.
Yeah, that was
was
great.
hilarious. That whole bit was very funny. The rocks were very funny.
Yeah.
There's this little I don't even know if it was 5 minute scene of just these two rocks talking to each other. These little text speeches or text bubbles appearing above them talking to each other was very funny. The overall story I really liked. It was just, I think just for me, like, now that you kind of explained that to me, I think it's really just the length. Like, I just felt like the pacing got a bit off track towards the end, where I was like,
I feel like the big thing with that is really towards the middle of the movie. Well, yeah, in the middle of the movie when the everything stops and it goes into part 2 of everywhere.
yeah, with the fake credits. And that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When it goes into that, that was like, because then it's the version of them at the party where they're all wearing red and they're having the party at the laundromat and stuff. I think the reason that the movie feels long, and I definitely felt that, I definitely did feel that it was like that, was you're now with them with this very close branch that is just, they didn't start this huge fight at the IRS. So you have that one, and then you get kind of established in that one, and then you have character resolutions and drama happening there with Deidre showing up with the police and stuff, and like, that's her, there she is. You have all that going on, and that all gets set up, doesn't resolve itself, and then you jump back to the original timeline for like another 20 minutes. I feel like that's really where the runtime hits you, is that you're like, well, why am I like spending time with like earlier it was like, all right, we have the main Evelyn going into all these different things, but then it was like now we almost have 2 main Evelyns. And I feel like that's where the movie for me feels its longest, is where I'm like,
Yeah, like her in the laundromat party, and then her in the IRS
in
pulling.
that
What's her
exactly
name? Yeah.
like with the grandpa, like with all the people fighting and
yeah,
stuff.
and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
those two running back to back, like the more like action one where they're about to be sucked into the bagel, and then just the more personal story one where she's trying to get Joy to just stay by letting her go. You know, it really, this movie really boils down in its simplest form too, though. You know, if you love something, let it go type of thing, really, because she's just trying to hold on so tightly to her daughter, because really she feels bad because her father so easily let go of her.
Yeah.
But the thing you have to realize, like the thing that she had to realize, is it's two totally different circumstances. It's your daughter is saying you need to let go, whereas before it was her dad just saying go. Yeah, and that's two very different things. And part of the movie is her realizing the difference and stuff. But yeah, I thought it was fantastic. But yeah, if I had one complaint, it is I feel like it's the runtime. I feel like it's just you could have tightened it up a little bit, maybe focused on one of those a little bit less. But at the same time, if you can look past the runtime allowed us to, every little tiny thing in the movie got wrapped up with a nice little bow. Like when she's going up those stairs and, you know, when she's like, you know, says to her husband, like, you know, he's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm learning to fight like you. And she's like trying to help everyone. Every single one of those people, you see what she does for them. Like, and I thought that was great. But yeah, I mean, I absolutely love the movie. Let's see. Michelle in chat said, I give it a 4.5. It was like a wild ride. You kept trying to figure out where it was going, which made it so much fun to watch. Oscars for all. And then she said, LOL, that was funny, TJ, about the everything bagel. There you go. Joke on your part.
Yeah, you know.
But yeah, I mean, I was talking to this kid at my work, who's like a really big film fan, about, you know, like Chekhov's gun, that like if you see a gun in the first act, it has to go off by the third act type of thing, like like filmmaking. I told him basically you take this movie and you just institute the principle of Chekhov's butt plug, because you see it at the beginning of the movie. And I love that she goes, you know, do you think I would have all of these if, and then you're like, oh, that's funny, it's like the IRS, and it's like, of course that, because the IRS, you know, they always seem to, you know, get you. So it's like that's like a perfect award for their accomplishments or whatever. And then you think the joke is over, and then like an hour later it comes back up. And it's like, it's just so funny. And then when she's fighting the two guys and it all slows down, and she just like grabs them both and like takes them out so that they no longer have the powers or whatever. Like that was really, really funny. But yeah, did you give a rating?
No, 4.5 out of 5.
4.5 out of 5. I gave this a 5.
I would like to see it again. Probably not gonna go and see it. I'll probably wait till it comes streaming. But yes, I would like to watch it again.
Yeah, I hope that it comes to streaming or at least VOD. Like, because this is a movie that I would just buy like immediately once it comes out. But yeah, I would give Everything Everywhere All at Once a 5 out of 5. I really, really love the movie. Like I said, I can look past a little bit of the pacing and runtime issues, but I really, really like this a lot. And I hope that I hope that it's not too discouraging to A24. I know it's hard to say, like, well, I hope it's not too discouraging that they lost money, but you know, you got to keep taking those chances. You know, look at streaming. None of those people make money except for Disney. Like, Netflix doesn't make any money, but they just keep throwing it against the wall and seeing what happens.
Stick,
yeah, exactly. And then you get like an Adam Project, which just, you know, knocks it out of the park. But then for every Adam Project, you know, you have like a 6 Underground, and you're like, well, you know, you win some, you lose some. But yeah, I just hope that they just keep taking chances, keep making these, you know, lower, you know, higher low end movies to mid end, you know, budget movies. Just keep doing all that kind of stuff, because, you know, this is a fantastic movie. Box office, you know, aside, This is a great movie.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna close out with. I say close out, but I'm sure it's gonna be a very good length conversation. We had Moon Knight episode 3 last night. Yep. I really enjoyed it. Okay. I really liked this episode. And I'm gonna start by saying one thing that is really getting to me about what people are saying about this show. It's like so many people after the first episode, after the second episode, that are, and make no mistake, Moon Knight is a hugely popular comic book character, hugely, but a Spider-Man, a Hulk, a Hawkeye, he is not in the comics. You know what I mean? Just in terms of influence and popularity and stuff. He is a B, C, D list comic book character. There were so many people right after episode 1 on Twitter, and granted, Twitter can be like a what do they call it? Like a vacuum chamber of the vocal minority or whatever you want to call it. But there were so many people that were like, oh, what is this? Like, where's Mark? Why
not my Moon Knight?
Yeah, why are we following Steven? This isn't how it is in the comics. All this stuff. And then the big one that people have been saying after episode 2 is, the big things were, where is Jake Lockley? I know there was this tweet that got so many likes that was like, we will not stand, the Moon Knight fandom will not stand for this Jake Lockley erasure. And I'm like, it's the second episode of his origin story. Like, let it unfold. Same thing with then Mr. Knight. People complaining last week about Mr. Knight's not supposed to be a comic relief. And it's like, okay, yeah, that's right. Guess what he is in this? They're like, he's not supposed to be comic. Yeah, he's not supposed to be comic relief. He's supposed to be more of a detective in the smarter version, and somebody who's able to like figure things out and work with the police and stuff. Okay, well, wait one episode. Guess what he does in this episode? Takes over and figures out the puzzle and puts the map together and is super smart. And, like, it's the first time Steven has been a superhero, so he's not going to know what to do. And then there is that, what I thought was one of the best moments of the episode for me entirely, was the moment where Moon Knight is fighting and he's like, and again, it's not rated R or anything, but just again, the subtle things that make this darker for a Disney Plus show, of when he's fighting all those people and then he's choking the guy out and you start to hear the like neck break. You start to hear like the and you hear Steven like, all right, Mark, give me the body back. Like, that's enough. Give me it back. Like, and then when he takes over and turns back into Mr. Knight and lets the guy go, and he's like, all right, stop. He's like, time out, everybody. And they just like murder him. They just like throw spears straight through him, just like, and he just goes, just like, all right, Mark, take it back. And then Moon Knight comes back and just wrecks everybody. Like, they're building to what this character is going to be. You know what I mean? Like, this is the first time that all this stuff is being established. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, we finally got our first look at Mr. Knight in episode 2, but Steven has been turning into Mr. Knight for, 5 years or something. No, that's the first time that persona has ever come forward. So, it's hard to kind of know what it's going to end up like. But that being said, going back to specifically this episode, I thought it was absolutely great. The fact that we finally got kind of a balanced episode where we focused more kind of with Mark. But then we also got some great Steven moments, both him as taking over the body as well as him in like the reflections and then the voiceover. Again, Ethan Hawke was incredible. Yeah, I really like the opening with Layla's character with Maya Calamway. I thought was great with the passport, that whole sequence of just putting together the fake passport and learning all this backstory with that, her father was an archaeologist and was murdered. And then later in the episode, Harrow says, Mark, that's why you don't tell her the truth. I think that the archaeologist that Mark killed was probably her father.
Oh, yeah.
That's where I think that's the secret that, he's keeping from her or whatever. But then also we got some great stuff with Khonshu that, okay, well, maybe we're being a little too harsh on it. Like, seems like he really is trying to help, and that all the other gods really are just assholes. But there is still a chance that could all be turned on its head, and that, Khonshu really is evil.
Yeah.
Or not evil, but, self-serving
the best intentions,
or something.
yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And then, again, last thing I'll say here is we got the great tease of, Mark, you have to stop doing this. I didn't do it. Well, I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Well, then who did it? Look at that. Yeah.
Wink, wink. Yeah.
And I did see people theorizing that, maybe this show won't have Jake Lockley. Maybe it was Khonshu doing it. But in the first episode, Khonshu makes it clear that he can't take over the body physically,
right?
Except for, because you can tell even in like the trial that we got in this episode, when he is speaking through Mark, it's like he's not like in Mark and then just talking regularly. It's like anytime Khonshu speaks, Mark's like you know what I mean? It seems to either take a big toll on Khonshu or a big toll on Mark for him to do that. And in the first episode, he says to Steven, he's like, oh, not you, get Mark back, Mark, wake up or whatever. I feel like if Khonshu could take over the body himself, he would have just done that then. So I it's got to be Jake Lockley. That's what I think. But yeah, I thought this was a really, really good episode. I'm not sure yet where it falls with the other episodes because I've only watched it once at this point. But what did you think? Where'd you fall on everything?
Yeah, I enjoyed the episode. I think I had some small, just some issues, I guess, with the episode overall. I thought some of the shots and direction during specifically the fights, I thought were a little odd. I just thought some shots were just oddly placed and just oddly shot, basically. I did not enjoy I shouldn't say not. I thought it was very just during the trial, they are very clearly against Khonshu, and clearly Khonshu has had problems with these other gods before. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, can you really not see that this guy is trying to bring back this evil thing and you're just oblivious to it? Like, I'm kind of like, this is very what's the word? It's very convenient. I'm like, okay, like look at him. He's Harrow is clearly trying, and can you not see, like, you have these avatars that are clearly walking outside of this pyramid.
Yeah.
So can we not see, do we not know what Harrow's doing, what he's been doing for the past however many days, weeks, etc. So I'm kind of like, I get that they are clearly not a fan of Khonshu. They've had problems with him before, and these were kind of the two last straws. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, we're really going to believe Harrow?
Well, on that, not just to be devil's advocate,
yeah,
I think, yeah, they would, because I don't think they can see what he was doing, because you remember, Amit's not part of that council anymore.
Right.
So I don't think they can see that. And the last time they saw Harrow, he was Moon Knight. He was a trusted member of that council for, I'm assuming, years.
Yeah.
And that's the last time they saw him. And now this new one showing up saying that Harrow's this, like, whatever lunatic. So with that, and then also Harrow, Ethan Hawke was so good in this, because it's like in the last episode when he's talking to Steven, he's being this nice, whatever, like, oh, I understand, you have an illness, you have a disease, we can work with you. And then in this one, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter talking about this, that, like, with the mental health community, like, very similar to like how there's outdated terms for like races and LGBT, communities and stuff. For people with mental or physical disabilities or whatever, like the use of the term like unwell is very like old thinking, like very offensive and stuff. And so a lot of people were saying like, wow, like when he says, because that's what Harrow calls him, he's like clearly Khonshu is unhinged and his avatar is unwell. And then when they ask, like, because you got to remember too, like these people are these gods are however millennia of years old or whatever. They're like, is this true? Are you unwell or whatever? Like, he's just a master, like, manipulating them. And also, not only that, but like I said, last time he was there, he was one of them. So I feel like they have no reason not to trust him. It's more like Mark is this guy they've never seen before.
I would like some more backstory on this dealer who collects this. Not dealer. He collects like the artifacts and stuff like that. I feel like we didn't really. There seemed to be a bigger story there, and they just nothing really came of that.
Yeah, that was Gaspard Yelly, I believe it is. He's the one that he passed away like before the
he did.
Show started. Yeah, he had the skiing accident.
Right.
And there is more of that. He's playing Midnight Man, who is like Moon Knight's main nemesis.
I was literally just looking at his IMDb like for this episode. He's listed in this episode, and I was like, wait, this is that guy. That the artifact guy.
Yeah.
I feel like it doesn't really look like him.
Let me see.
I mean, obviously that's a hedge. That's a shot. Like,
oh yeah,
I was like, I didn't realize that was him. But because I was like looking at this, I was like, I don't remember seeing this guy. But
so yes, I would assume
okay.
Either later, he might show up later in this season. But I would assume in a movie or future seasons or something, I'm sure he would have had a much bigger role because he's basically, other than maybe like Khonshu, he's basically Moon Knight's like nemesis in the comics. Midnight Man. Yeah.
So yeah, again, if we get more from him, great, because that's what I want. But if we don't, unfortunately, he did pass away. But I would have liked more from that character. I think. What was the other thing? The whole kind of like, that was kind of cool how Harrow kind of destroyed the map but not really. Like, I didn't mean to say cool if I did say that. I just thought it was kind of like he tried to like, I guess it was more kind of like a scare tactic of anything is what it kind of seemed like. I get he was showing his power to what's his name, Mogart, but and then something I thought was really weird, and this is just really nitpicky, but when they're in the desert and he's trying to figure out, Mark is trying to put the map together, and like, oh, we need Steven.
Yeah.
They take it off the hood of the truck, walk 10 feet into more sand, put it on the ground, and then they figure it out. I was like, why didn't we just stay on the hood of the truck? It's really nitpicky, but I was like, that's just dumb. Like, just you're taping these things together. Like, do it on a flatter surface than sand.
Yeah. I mean, I think probably the idea with that is like they probably want to be away from the truck, I guess, to like have a clearer look at the sky or something. I don't know, but I mean,
And just to go back on like the whole shot, like the shot of them like driving in that truck in the sand dune or whatever, and there's like Harrow's men in that truck, and it's like a first person like watching that. I just did not like the way it looked like that. I was like, that just looks weird to me. But yeah, I thought it was good. I'm excited for the next 3 episodes. Again, it seems like
it's already halfway over.
It seems like episode 5 is could be the big switcheroo that something happens, because again, they only set the press the first 4. I mean, there's only 6, but I think that's hands down. There's a third personality. Like that is just that they're really like, not me.
Yeah.
Like so. But I did think it was kind of crazy when Conchu's like, yeah, just hold him off over the cliff and he'll talk, and then he just cut the thing and he.
I know. I couldn't.
I was
believe,
like,
I was
okay,
like, that's crazy. I like that though because it did show like a little bit of also earlier in the fight when he's punching everyone else, but then he sees that it's a kid and he goes to punch him, but he opens his hand and he slaps him instead. It goes to show that like even as dark of like and he's a mercenary and stuff that Mark is like, he's still not gonna like beat up a kid. Not that guy was a child, but like he clearly was like a teenager.
Yeah,
like,
he was.
And then, talk about dark. Like, they set this guy up that he's a kid, and then he freaking kills himself. Like, it's like, oh my God. Honestly, like, a scene like that would have been a better... I don't know why. I'm just, like, thinking of Disney Plus and clips and stuff, but, like, if when the Gamorreans died in Book of Boba Fett, if it was filmed like that, where you just see, like, someone's perspective and then you just hear it, that would have been so much more than like the like slow mo, like where they fell off of it or whatever. Still no retribution for them. He didn't even mention him. He was just like, oh, you want to make Lou run? He was like, but still, but yeah, that was a really like, and then Khonshu just having absolutely no care for any life that doesn't matter to him. Just I thought he would talk. Like, and Mark just looks at him like, what the fuck? Like, that's how you know that like even though Khonshu does make really the kind of the ultimate sacrifice in this episode, like he basically kills himself because he's but I do like that he said to Steven, tell Mark to free me. So maybe he knows a way to do it. But he does kind of make like the ultimate sacrifice because if Mark can't figure it out, he's in essence he's dead, trapped there. But it's still a scene like that still shows you that as bad as Mark might be, Khonshu's worse. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like always keeping that in perspective. That as dark of a past that Mark might have type of thing. Khonshu is still the person that we got to get him out basically for Mark to be able to not be sane, because I think at this point I think the DID is just part of him. Like it wouldn't erase Steven or anything, but just having Khonshu out so that Mark could at least have some semblance of a life, I think would be a lot better. But and then the last thing, what was I just gonna say about that? Is I like that. This episode really with Steven helping him to do the sky thing, which I was like, the people of Earth, how many times have they seen shit going on in the sky? Like, I feel so bad for them. They're like is Doctor Strange not looking out of his window going, what the fuck? Like, but that kind of helped Steven kind of prove himself to Khonshu, whereas in the first episode it's like he's like, leave us be, worm. And he's he's like, the idiot's awake. And well, guess what? Now the idiot's the one who figured it out and helped you to do all this stuff to try and get this done. And it again shows like what people were jumped to complain about last week. Like Mr. Knight is the one that like he can help with those kind of things. Maybe he's not as good in a fight, but I mean, he's still strong and stuff, but he's not like a great fighter, I should say. But what he can do is figure stuff out and have the knowledge. He's like I don't know if he's a genius, but he's very, very smart and has a great like intellect. And I think that this episode really helped show Khonshu like that Steven has a lot of value to bring to it, because like without Steven, they couldn't have figured it out in this episode.
Right.
I really like that too, but what are some other things you have?
No, yeah, I'm excited.
Do we rate this?
No, I give it probably like a 4 for me. 4 out of 5. I'm just interested to see how he, rescues Khonshu. I'm assuming you just probably smashed the statue.
That's what I was figuring. Also, one thing that just as we were talking here that I was thinking about when he said, have Mark free me. His origin in the comics is that basically, Mark essentially helped free Khonshu to begin with, and that's why he, saved him. So maybe it's like he's did it once before or something, so he knows that he's able to do it again. Something like that. But yeah, I mean, I'd figure it's probably just smash it and then he can just come out again. The trick is, how's Mark going to get into the pyramid?
That's what
of
I was
Giza?
thinking.
But then again, Harrow got
same.
him there.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Because the second time, the second time he might have been summoned again. I don't think we see him be summoned,
yeah.
but I think he was.
Yeah, because like
he's talking to the main guy.
Who is the main? It's not Ra. Who is it?
I don't know.
Why isn't Ra on the Ennead? Maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe Ra's the big bad.
Could be.
The staff of Ra. They're digging in the wrong place. A lot of Indiana Jones similarity, like specifically,
Staff of Ra. Yeah.
Specifically, Raiders of the Lost Ark like influence in this show. I just want to catch up on chat before we close out here. LOL. Oh no, you already said that. Michelle said, "Love this episode. Love this Moon Knight episode. I said all along there was another person along with Steven and Mark. I feel like Harrow is using the gods' problems with Khonshu to sort of divert attention off of himself, and at the same time, he gets Khonshu out of his way. Is it just me, or does Layla have a little crush on Steven? Yeah, I did. Definitely, I would say. I see that. Now, something that's interesting is that real-life DID, not to say that there's a difference between what's being displayed on the show, because people have said it's pretty accurate and whatever, but with DID, you can literally transfer your emotions and feelings related to trauma that creates personalities to the new personality. So people have theorized that, well, maybe the reason that Mark is so cold to Layla and that there's kind of that natural connection between her and Steven is that possibly Mark transferred his feelings for her to Steven.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not like a conscious thing that he would have done, but maybe that's what happened, because I mean, you even see in the second episode, like, Steven's like, oh, that's my favorite poet too. It's like, it's almost like he's the perfect version of Mark that she would have liked or something, or that Mark thinks that she would have liked. But yeah, I think that's pretty interesting too. So yeah, I thought it was a great episode. I'll give it as well. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Like I said, I have to see it like probably another time to determine where I think it falls between the other two. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. So yeah, is there anything else you wanted to cover or go? We got Fantastic Beast. I got Fantastic Beasts coming up tomorrow. I'm really hyped.
You're excited.
I'm really excited for it. I feel like it's gonna let me down. I just feel like it's gonna let me down. Really, kind of. But the thing that I'm glad about is I feel like it's gonna let me down, but I really shouldn't, because most of the reviews are very positive on it. So I really just have to wait and see. But that'll do it for episode 81 of Planet Film Live, PFN Live. Thank you guys so much again, as always, every week joining us here on the show. Let us know in the comments down below, what did you think of Everything Everywhere All at Once? What did you think of Sonic, Moon Knight? Are you going to buy Lego Star Wars? You already have it. Let us know all that stuff and more down below. Like TJ said at the top of the episode, make sure you are following us at the official PFN right there at the bottom of your screen on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, specifically TikTok. We're on our way to 10,000 likes and 100 followers on there. So yeah, make sure to follow us on there. That'll do it for me. I have been one of your hosts, Sean Monk.
I've been your other host, TJ Cornwell. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to all our channels, PFN Gaming, PFN Live, and of course Planet Film Network, where you can check out our reactions to trailers as well as reviews. Follow TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok for sure, because we're pumping out a ton of content daily on that platform. So please go follow and like the videos. And
a lot of theories and stuff we post over there, and quick news reactions and stuff. Real quick from you, did you see so a Flash TV series apparently
might end.
Something's going. Apparently there have been but like sudden talks to just be like, let's just end it with the next one.
Oh, the next one.
Yeah, with season 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
season 9. I thought you meant like the next episode. They were like,
no,
it's done.
They're like, let's Bennett, just have him be struck by lightning and he's out. No, but that being said, I do hope that show for fans of the TV show, ever since the first episode, was it the very first episode? No, it was some point in season 1. Might have been the first episode, but I feel like that's too soon. But where Barry actually finds the time vault for the first time, and then the article, for anybody who's watched The Flash knows, the article, Flash vanishes in, red, or Flash vanishes in red explosion or something like that. That's the article that this huge knockout, drag-out fight between him and Reverse Flash throughout the streets of Central City. This news article has been teased. They changed the timeline, and the date on the article has changed and stuff, but this big fight, and then it ends with the Flash vanishes. I feel like that, if they were smart with the show, that is how the show ends.
Yeah, if.
Just end it on, like, Arrow, totally satisfying conclusion. Spoiler alert, Oliver dies. Great ending to that character. Sacrifices himself in Crisis to restart the universe. Beautiful bookend of that. I think that the Flash is more of a supernatural thing and more superpowered. So I think you just go with the ballsy ending and just have them fight, have the big explosion happen or whatever, and just have them both disappear and just end the show right there. Which, if he disappears, might show up. Could show up somewhere else. But yeah, I got a couple TikToks on there about that, as well as a couple other things. But yeah, like we said, thanks for joining us tonight.
See you next time.
We will see you guys next time. Take it easy, everybody. Boom.